everybody, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we're going to be doing the second part of my townhome build challenge. If you guys are interested in the first part, then you could always watch it on my channel if you are interested in watching the first part where I do the exterior of all these buildings. If you guys do end up watching the first part of my video, then you guys should know that these are supposed to be creative townhomes, and this one is supposed to be inspired off of music. And so I gave a very kind of dark color scheme. I used a lot of the interior design pack because I wanted everything to look very clean and polished and neat. Downstairs is a kitchen, a little dining table, and then there's also a little tiny living room. There's a studio, like a little music recording studio, and a guest bedroom and a bathroom. And upstairs there are 2 bedrooms and another bathroom. So it's a pretty small apartment from downstairs. Like there's not a lot of like living and space, but I wanted to kind of sacrifice that and add more bedrooms just because I really wanted this place to have a studio. I wanted to add a lot of bold color and a lot of patterns in this build just because and the one next to it is very kind of clean and simple, which I'm going to be uploading later. And so I don't know how common this is in real life. Maybe they have like a condo or something, but I wanted to make sure that it looks like they kind of painted the walls themselves, and there's like a lot of like brick accents and things that really match the interior, which I know that when I lived in an apartment, you couldn't paint the walls, and some people couldn't even like put like pins in their walls to hang up posters without like having to fix it. And so like they had just like taped things to their wall. And so I don't know how common this is in real life, but I made this apartment very like formal and fancy, and so I hope that that's kind of okay, that it looks like they bought it themselves, that they painted it. You can't exactly download this apartment yet, or this building yet, because I'm not done with the other townhomes currently. I'm just done with this one and the one next to it. And then I'm going to be downloading all of them as Creative's townhomes. The people next to them are interested in photography, writing, and painting. And so I'm sure there's like some kind of story about like maybe one of them are like dating, or there's like a couple or a feud or some kind of creative debate going on. Because even though a lot of people that are interested in art or are in some creative medium, they're very like kind and helpful. A lot of them are very like, I'm better than you because I do abstract art or that type of thing. And I feel like these people are definitely in that category of, oh, you don't do real art, you do like pottery, I do like, you know, I do music, I'm more important, I guess, in the field than you are, which is a really kind of messed up thing that certain artists do. But I've noticed that in certain ways that some people that are interested in art are a little bit, or think that they're a little bit better than everyone else in that medium, which is a little bit frustrating, but that's just kind of the way it is sometimes with different personalities in one giant field. I think if there were to be a sim that lives in this area, they definitely have to like the color black and white and brown because of how much it's in this house. And so if you have a sim that dislikes this, I think you should either like change it if you really want to download this house, because it's a little bit annoying that sims that don't like a certain thing or don't like a certain style, they'll be a little bit uncomfortable. And it will show up in your gameplay of like, oh, I don't like, mission decor, I hate living here. And it gets a little bit frustrating having to deal with that all the time. I might upload a video of Cass, or create a sim of making all the people that live in this household, maybe giving them like a little storyline that I could read for you guys. I think that that would be really fun. So if you guys are interested in that, I'd love you guys to for comment and tell me if you guys are interested in it. I know I didn't upload it yet, but I'm working on it. It's a story for this industrial apartment that came with Eco Lifestyle. And it's about this little family and this girl, and she's moving out to college, and she eventually takes her younger sister and her friend to live with her after they really dislike their parents. And I'm still working on the story right now, or else I would finish it for you guys. But in that build, I did a build and a cast along with a story. And I'm not like a writer or anything. Like, I'm definitely not cut out for that kind of thing. But I always think it's more fun. I'm not that good at voiceovers yet because it's difficult for me to kind of get myself out of the "this is hilarious" me talking in my room to a camera vibe. Um, and so being able to read something, it's a lot more helpful for me, and so I might do that in other builds if you guys are interested in it. So as you guys can see, I went for very like modern decor. It's very like blue, black, gray, and I went for it to be very modern and formal. Even though there are posters and stuff everywhere, I still think it gives off that energy. I also use CapCut, which is the editing software that I've been using and I'm not sponsored, like, obviously, but I have been using CapCut as the editing software for these videos, and so the music in the background will always be CapCut. If you guys are interested in looking into it, it's just a free editing software, and it's pretty good. It gets the job done for me. I might upload or upload more videos and be able to afford other ones where like Photoshop or more formal video editors or more options. But until then, I'm probably going to continue using CapCut just because it's the best one that I've found so far. So as you see, we're working on the studio right now. I tried to include a lot of musical instruments because I think that's what their profession is. I added like a little piano, a microphone, a guitar, and a mixing table. I also added I think a bookshelf, maybe a desk, if I remember correctly. It ended up being kind of a cramped space, but I think that's okay because it's pretty functional at the end of the day, and I think that'd probably be the best for them. I also like how in this room they get while they're mixing music, they can look out their window into the beautiful beachside view and look out into the water. I thought that was a really cool aspect of this home. While you're working, you could look outside in this beautiful, landscape. I also use a lot of packs in this, so I'm sorry if you don't have a lot of packs. I use a lot of Get Together, a lot of interior design pack, Get Famous, and packs along those lines, just because I thought they looked really well with the kind of aesthetic I was going for. So I finished the interior. I like to tell you guys a little bit of stories about my neighbors because I've been having a lot of bad luck with my neighbors recently, and I think that'd be pretty entertaining instead of me just babbling on about who knows what. So maybe 1.5 years ago, I used to walk my dog in this area that was it was kind of in the back of the neighborhood. I live in a very traditional neighborhood, and it was kind of near the very back of the neighborhood, and it was between these two houses. There was a gate, and by one of the houses there was a layer of rocks, and behind the gate and the rocks and the houses, there was this huge field where I take my dog Minnie to walk, right? Because I couldn't drive or anything like that, and so I'd always just feel bad that I couldn't take her somewhere where she can just run around off leash and just we can play ball or do something like that, right? And so during the summer, or when it's raining or whatever weather, I'd take her back there so she can run around. I could hang out. I called people, whatever, right? I don't have to worry about Minnie being on a leash and all that, right? But there are these but to get to the fields, you could either go through the gate, which was usually locked, because it was a city limit or whatever area, but no one was working there. There weren't any signs "Don't go back here, you're trespassing." There was nothing like that. It was just a gate that was locked. But the only way you can get through it is walk across these rocks, which was by the neighbor's house. And this area was completely open before the neighbors put the rocks there, and so you could just walk a little bit across their lawn and you'd get there. And it's maybe one step at most. Like, it's not a really big, like, you have to walk all the way across their lawn. No, it's like a step or two. And there was another way to get to the area on the other side, which was also open. But that area was just overgrown with leaves, and it was mucky most of the time because the ground couldn't dry because it was covered in leaves. And so it just, that was like the best way to get to it, so I might get my shoes and whatever wet, right? So one day I was walking over there, making my way across the neighborhood to that area, right? And the neighbor on the other side, not the side with the rocks, but the other building, they, like, there was this woman on the front of their lawn, and she started yelling at me. I don't remember her exact words, but she said something like, "Oh, how could you, walk on someone else's lawn? Like, you're trespassing, you're such, like, a bad neighbor," all that kind of stuff, right? And she was yelling at me for walking over, like, the rocks or whatever to get to the field each day, because I guess she was watching me or something, which was really creepy, but she was just like, "How dare you walk over there, just use the gate," right? And we're yelling across the neighborhood, like she's maybe like 4 or 5 houses in front of me, just screaming on her at her lawn on me. And I'm just here walking my dog, all stressed out, and I try to explain like, "Oh, well, the gate was locked, right?" And another thing is that, like, I know I don't exactly look young. Like, if you ever saw me before, I don't exactly look young. I grew up really fast, and so I kind of look like I'm in like my 20s, even though I'm still in high school. But you can definitely tell, like, from the way I responded, that I was a minor, right? And so this woman's yelling at a minor, which is you're never really in the right when you do that. So anyway, she starts talking to me about how the gate's not locked anymore and all this stuff, right? And then she goes back in her house, and there's like kids across the street. There's other people in the area, but like they didn't care. And so I walked over there like shaking because I wasn't expecting that, and I feel like most people wouldn't respond that well when a neighbor starts yelling at them out of nowhere. I was like all shaking and trembling, which was really pathetic on my part, but I think understandable if you saw the situation. So I walk over there. The gate was unlocked, and I walk through the gate. She's like, "Yeah, there, you see, like all proving her point." And then she stomps in her house. And I walk around. I'm stressing out, trying not to cry because I'm not much of a crier. Like, I'm definitely not a crier. Like, I don't cry during like Disney movies, especially during that time. I do a little bit more now because I'm more like open now than I used to. But I'm not a crier, so I'm just trying to think not to cry, panicking, all that good stuff before, I was diagnosed with anxiety. Anyway, so I'm walking my dog across this field. Usually I'd probably just like walk back, but I felt like I was kind of like threatened to walk over there, and so, I walk over there and I hear this family like yelling at their kid on the other side of the fence where the field I was at. And they were all like, "Oh, Jimmy, how dare you do this? Like, go outside," like telling their kid to go in the backyard because he obviously did something bad. So I hear this kid go outside. He's all yelling at his parents, like, "Oh my god, blah, blah, blah." And then he gets a rock and throws it over the fence, and it almost hits me or my dog. I kind of forgot which one. But either way, he almost hit me or my dog. So I'm very shaken up by this. I'm very stressed out already. And so I start walking home. She didn't go, but I was like, you know what? Like, it's not worth it anymore. I walk home. My mom's sitting on the couch. I'm not crying yet, but I was very close to. And she's like, "Oh, like, how'd the walk go?" And I'm like, "I'm not walking with her anymore." Or I said something along those lines. And I went in my room and I cried. And my mom eventually went and checked up on me, and I had to explain what was happening. I explained it to my dad, and I was like, "Oh no, I was probably in the wrong for walking people's property." And he's like, "No, you weren't," and all this stuff, right? So I don't have the best neighbors, and I haven't walked in that block since then. But it's been like a year and a half, and I'm like, I should probably try to walk over there a little bit, right? And I'm like, I'm going to walk over there. And so I go over there, And then and like I said, I walk in that area because I really wanted to walk Minnie in the field after like a year and a half. Just my dad walking over there. I'm like, I want to do that, you know? And she's just on her lawn. Or like someone in that house is like right on their lawn. And I'm like, you know what? No, not today. I walked to the other side, like, okay, I guess I'll just walk around the block since I'm already down here. A German Shepherd is like, um, was looking under their owner's car at this like little kitten that it was bugging. Sees my dog, runs across the street, right? I had to pick up Minnie because she's a little terrier, and so she's just like barking. She scratches my side and like my face, and then like the neighbor calls the German Shepherd over, and you know everything's fine and dandy. But my dog's all freaked out and antsy, right? And so I walk over there, um, and then I just like walk home. I run into a couple neighbors. I brought Minnie's ball because I wanted to play with her in the field. And so we were crossing the street to get to where I live and to my house. And I just drop it in the middle of the road while crossing the street in front of a car. The car stops, luckily, even though I kind of gave up. I wasn't even crossing yet, but it rolled into the street. I'm like, oh well, there goes Minnie's ball. Um, and like she has other ones, so it wasn't like a super big deal. But I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm not gonna run into the street to get it. But the car stops, and I run over there, pick up the ball, walk home, thank the car. So yeah, I guess I just don't have that good luck when it comes to that neighbor. All my other neighbors are pretty nice. There's one I think yelled at me for like walking my dog on her lawn, um, and that was weird because she was on the phone. So I'm like, are you talking to the person on the phone, or are you yelling at my dog and like shooing it off your lawn? Because people walk their dogs, lady. It's not a super big deal. And that freaked me out because I was on the phone also talking to my friend, and I was talking bad about her like 2 seconds after I walked off her lawn. I have this one neighbor that we hang out with but almost every 4th of July. Um, and she's very fun. She got like a new puppy recently, and every single time I walk by our house, even though I barely talk to her, I wave. And so I'm just like, oh, hi, hi. And she waves back, or she's on the phone, doesn't see me, and I don't wave at all. But besides that, that's like pretty much all my neighbor stories. I've had other ones, but that's the only one in this neighborhood. My family's moved a couple times, so I have a couple friends and stuff that I've been, neighbors to. But besides that, that's all my neighbor stories that I'm going to say today. So I hope you guys all enjoyed like stories of my neighbors. I'll upload the other videos of the other townhomes later, and hope you're having an amazing day. Bye!